Hi guys, welcome to your week 38 U.S. History launch, and we are going to keep up with checkpoint 3 of the U.S. History capstone, which is your last project of the year. And we have 10 days left from today, so about 2 weeks, not counting weekends. So some of you should be taking advantage of the weekends at this point, coming into the extra learning labs, and just really, some of you, I think you'd be surprised at how much you can get done in an 8-hour workday. So pretend you're back in brick and mortar and you're sitting there from 7:30 to 3:30 or something, but park it at the kitchen counter and get to work. So you guys have 3 options, remember, for summer school. If you want to avoid summer school, you should complete all of your courses by May 25th, which was the smartest option. If you have completed at least 50% of a course, you're eligible for summer school. This will cost $100 per course, though it is not free. So if you're somebody who is not going to pass any of your 4 courses, that would mean that somebody, either you or a parent or guardian, is going to have to shell out $400 this summer. So that is pretty difficult for a lot of our families to do. So try and make it easier on them. Something you could do, there are some of you who are, it's very unlikely that you're going to pass everything at this point. So maybe what you should do is pick 2 of your classes that you find the easiest, maybe English and history or something like that. And at least try to pass 2 of the classes and complete them to their entirety. And then maybe you only have to take 2 over the summer. But I think that your family would appreciate the hard work at the end, and also it would be $200 cheaper. So just an option. If not, if you do pass, or if you do fail more than 2 or more of your classes, you will be retained to your current grade level. So there are some of you who it's unlikely that you're moving on to 8th grade at this point, or moving on to 9th grade at this point, without having to at least retake some things in the summer. The U.S. History Capstone Project, just to summarize again, is all about what it means to be American and kind of why we study America, and what is your idea of the American identity and how that differs from person to person in America. Checkpoint 3 is just your multimedia planning, so this should be a pretty easy one for you. It's also, if you would like to go through and just start making your draft, you're kind of getting a step up, because that's all you'll be doing next week too. So you could send a link to your draft presentation. I think it's probably easiest to do Google Slides, but if you had another idea for how you'd like to do, whether it be Powtoon or something like that, but I think Google Slides you guys seem to be getting pretty good at. Then what you want to make sure you do is include all 6 of these things in your presentation. So the first thing would be information about the person you interviewed. So at this point, last week we talked about making sure that your 10 questions are good and they are aligned with whatever historical event you pick. So now you should have gone ahead and asked those questions after you got my feedback and made sure that the questions were good. So you want to make sure that you provide some information about the person you interviewed, maybe how old they were or what year they were born, and just a couple different things like that. Information about the historical or current event that you asked your interviewee about. So if you picked the Vietnam War and you're talking to your grandmother, you want to give some context and background information about the Vietnam War. Also pick at least 2 of the questions that you asked and what their responses were. So maybe a particular question got a really good response that you weren't expecting, or you think it was a really cool response. Include at least 2 of the questions. You're welcome to include all 10, the entire interview if you would like, but definitely at least 2. Then you want to include your analysis of at least one of the what does it mean to be American sources. Again, that goes right back to checkpoint 1. If you did checkpoint 1, you're done with that. All you have to do is copy and paste that information in. Then you want to put your opinion on what it means to be American in American history. And then also a list of the sources that you used during your presentation. And also make sure that whenever we're talking about multimedia, that means that it's more than just words and text on a page. Try to include some pictures. Don't always just settle for a white background with black text. Try to make it a little interesting to the viewer. So if you guys have any questions about this throughout this week, please message me. And then if you want to just send me the link now, you can get a head start in the feedback, because your final project is basically just doing everything here. Week 38 runs from May 16th to May 22nd. This is your last full week, and then we will just have a couple extra days at the end. You should be working to finish all of your remaining focus areas. If you're somebody who is pretty well caught up on the projects, you should try to work on the extra credit by completing the additional focus areas. And then also try to submit checkpoint 3 of the U.S. History Capstone Project. And your reflection for this week, I would like to know, what historical event are you planning your project around? So whether it's 9/11 or a specific war, but again, make sure it is something that the person you are interviewing was alive for.